Joining us now, Fox News contributor Scott Martin. All right, Scott, would you buy Amazon stock now that they've just taken on this big new wage cost that they've just accepted?
I would, Stuart, and maybe not so much for the wage raise otherwise, other than the fact that is good for them as a good sign that the company's in good financial health, that they can do this. Hopefully they're not doing this via pressure from D.C. or other politicians, which have taken aim at Amazon. But I would buy Amazon for other reasons. The fact that the cloud domination of theirs has just started. The fact that Amazon Prime remains the gateway drug to massive internet spending. And the fact, too, that Amazon's becoming a marketing and advertising firm in itself. So there's a lot of reasons to like Amazon here. And the fact that you're getting it at $2,000 a share actually seems pretty cheap.
Well, wait a minute. It takes a strong stomach for an ordinary investor to plunk down $2,000 a share on a stock that's already gone through the roof.
Yes, and I'm no ordinary investor, having a few years under my belt now, Stuart. And listen, you know, the tough part is about stock price is that, yes, it's a number, and it's one that does take a little bit more cash than, say, Sirius Satellite Radio, for example, at like $6. But the reality is this: the valuation of the company is what matters. The revenue growth is what matters. The cash flow that Amazon has is what matters. And that's why Amazon, to me, remains one of the best stocks on the street.
All right, I want more on Amazon. I want to bring in Zane Tankel. He's a guy that we know well on the show. He runs, at last count, I think it was 43 Applebee's. Are you up or down from that?
Down.
Down?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's been a consolidation in our marketplace.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah,
I really am.
Right.
What do you make of Amazon paying $15 an hour to 350,000 American workers?
Yeah. I think it has absolutely nothing to do with, it depends, start with what percentage of their total cost is labor.
Right.
And I would suspect it's a small percentage. And the sliver of what that cost is vis-a-vis the products that they're selling. So if you're selling consumer products in the thousands of dollars, they should pay their guys $20, $30 an hour, quite frankly, because of the margins that they have. It's very much like doing the news without printing a newspaper, delivering it to the newsstands, having the newsstands take. Well, they cut all that out and they sell directly to you and me. That's all margin.
But are they doing it because they fear unionization, and are they doing it because it's a very tight labor market and they cannot afford to be short of workers in the holiday season?
Exactly right. In fact, as you and I have talked about, Stuart, there's a huge trucking shortage of drivers, right? They got to deliver that stuff. They're not drones yet, the last I looked. So, yes, they got to attract people. And we in our labor market of the restaurant business, which has slivers, in all fairness, we really do, we pay $18, $20 an hour to a good cook. And a server can make $40, $50 an hour with their tips added onto the minimum wage.
Well, wait a minute. A server in an Applebee's can make 40 or 50 bucks
including
an
tips,
hour,
including tips. Yes, sure.
That's
on a weekend, they'll make $150 for a shift. Sometimes $200. Down here on 42nd Street, they'll make $200. And they're probably watching me now, and you know,
you're in trouble.
No, because I know I'm always monitored by thousands of our people.
Yes, you are.
So I have to be very cautious.
Okay,
but it comes down to margin. So their margins can afford that, and then there is the competitive set to attract people. They're growing so fast, they need people to be in this.
Now that you're in Applebee's, you're in the restaurant business. You're also in the oil business.
Yes, I am.
You're a director of an energy company.
I am.
What do you make of President Trump saying, hey, OPEC, they're the ones who've got the price of oil up. We don't like it. What do you make of that statement?
Well, I think that there's some truth to that statement, but I think the oil industry is a conundrum right now, more geopolitical than it is supply and demand. It's a fungible commodity. The Iranians, I think everybody's getting ready for the Iranian embargoes to now squeeze a little bit more. I assume you know, of course you know, that there's been rioting in Iran. They blew up a well yesterday. Sure. Yeah, they did in the stand. I forget which stand it is, but they blew up a well. Yes, sir. And that doesn't bode well, even with embargo, for Iranian oil, number one. Number two, I believe that the Saudis have committed to the president that they're going to help him get reelected. High gasoline prices at the pump do not bode well for a voter. low gasoline prices at the pump. So that's what I mean. It's a conundrum. It's geopolitical. It's our local domestic politics. It's a commitment to the president. They obviously would like to see Donald Trump reelected. He's closely aligned. It's the Israelis putting pressure on as well. It's a martini shaken, not stirred.
Okay, hold on, Zane. Let me bring in Jerry Bailey, former Exxon Arabian Gulf president thereof. Jerry, why is the price of oil today at $75 a barrel?
Well, Zane did a good speech for me there, right there. You're exactly
you so
spot on. There are so many different things in being part of the influencing. I said it's going to stay between $70 and $80, and the word is geopolitical. There's so many things. You got Libya, Nigeria, you got
I left them out.
Iran. You got all of this stuff is affecting. It's not really OPEC that's really
okay, but we've got American producers who want to produce as much as they can.
And that's good for with this price up. That brings American producers in.
Don't we have Saudi Arabia? They want to raise production because they don't want $3-4 a gallon gasoline in America.
They don't, but they're pretty much up at their top. Most of the OPEC guys are really producing at high levels. So we should take that as it will open up more work for people, more jobs, more things here in the United States. I mean, we've got things in, particularly in Alaska, that really needs to produce more. My company now, this Petrotech Energy, where you unlock the oil sands in Utah, we're now starting to produce. There's millions of barrels there. And just this week, a group I'm working with that doing some help down in South Texas had calls from Mexico people, oil people, said, you can help us improve our production.
Hold on a second. I've got to get back to Scott Martin. You've got an oil play, an energy play. In other words, how to play the energy market for profit. Tell us.
I do, Stuart, and just like the gentleman were saying previously, you know, it's kind of sickening to think about all the oil wells that we have drilled here in the States, the massive barrels that are, say, in just West Texas alone that are untapped. So AMLP, Stuart, is an ETF that takes advantage of oil infrastructure. So think about drilling equipment, think about transportation, pipelines, and things like that that are basically essential to getting that oil out of the ground. It's coming out of a 3-year bear market. It's got a nice yield on it at 8%. I think this is a way to take advantage of what is going to be, I think, a booming oil industry here going forward.
Okay, before we close this out, I want a prediction. Jerry, where's the price of oil going to for the rest of this year?
It'll be up to $80.
It'll hit 80?
Yes.
Okay, Zane.
Since Jerry's agreed with me on everything, I have to agree with Jerry on that. Absolutely, no doubt.
$80 a barrel.
Yeah, it may be better. But one last thing, technology is changing, don't forget, as well. We've left out of the equation. We have much bigger horsepower drills. We have rigs, rather. We have bits now that don't have to come up and be changed every time. I'm an investor in a technology company in Houston, Texas, that is doing things that are mind-boggling. So
is there anything you've not invested in?
You, Stuart.
There you go. All right. Well, you can buy me lunch if you like. Right?
Well, invite me.
I want to thank everybody here. Scott, Jerry, Zane, gentlemen, good discussion. Very good. Thank you very much, everyone.